Welcome to surfing. I'm Dustin Brown and I'm going to take you through your surfboard basics. If you're new to surfing, I guarantee you an awesome ride. Just be resilient, don't give up first try, you are going to fall. Hardly a single person gets surfing off the bat. It takes a bit of dedication, but every single minute you put into your surfing is going to come back tenfold. I promise you that much. Okay, so you're going to start surfing, but you've never come across a surfboard before. You get many types of surfboards, short boards, long boards, minimals. For now, don't really worry about what type of surfboard you're going to be riding. You're probably going to start off by doing a few lessons where the instructor will provide you with a board. But if you're going to go buy your own surfboard, speak to whoever's working at the surf shop. They'll give you some good tips on what to buy. My advice on your first surfboard, get it long, get it wide, get it fat. This is going to make it easier for you when you're learning. It's going to be a lot more stable, it's going to hold a straight line. It's going to be more forgiving when you lean too much on one side or the other. Also, with a bigger, fatter surfboard, it's going to be easier to paddle into waves. The one thing that's a downside on a big surfboard, it's hard to get under the waves. So it's only really going to be easy in very small surf, where you can actually just lift the board over the waves in shallow water. Surfboard basics. This is my standard shortboard I'm riding at the moment. This is the Swinger model by Surf Toys Surfboards in Durban, South Africa. So the elements of the surfboard include your nose, and on the opposite end we have your tail. The tail comes in a variety of shapes. So we have nose to tail. From nose to tail we have a curve. Kind of like a banana has a bit of a curve. That's called your rocker. Then you've got rail to rail. So this is your sides which you'll hold on when you're trying to go under waves, or some people will hold on when you take off. Best to put your hands flat on deck, but some people will hold when they take off. So rail to rail. Your rails have a curve on them. You'll see more towards the top of a surfboard, they're more rounded, whereas towards the bottom of the surfboard, they might have a more sharp edge. Okay, near your tail of your surfboard, or your bottom side of your surfboard, you have what's known as the fins. Combinations come anywhere from 1 fin up to 5 fins. On your bottom deck is going to be where your fins are. On your top deck is where your feet are going to go. On the top deck you generally will see a grip or pad at the back of the deck, and this normally has a bit of a rise at the back so your foot doesn't slip off the edge when you're putting a lot of pressure there, and a slight bump in the middle just also for extra grip on your arch. Then you'll see that there's a wax on the surfboard. Not your standard candle wax, surfboard wax specific. So basically what this does is give your foot grip on the surfboard so you don't slip when you're busy doing tricks on your surfboard. For me, especially when you're starting, just wax your surfboard up pretty much right up to the nose. You're going to stand in random places, rather have wax than not have wax. Through the center of your surfboard, you have what's known as a stringer. Some surfboards have actually a foam stringer, but generally what you will see is a wooden stringer running through the surfboard. This makes it a lot stronger, you're not going to snap your surfboard in half. It also gives it a nice flex. Another bonus with the stringer is this gives you a center pivot point. So when you're standing on your surfboard, you know where your pivot point is. If you're leaning too much to one side or the other, that's what's going to make you fall. So your top deck's where your wax and your grip is. Your bottom deck's where your fins will be at the bottom of your surfboard. Length's going to be one of the features that determines how easily your surfboard will paddle and also how stable your surfboard rides. A thicker board is going to have more volume, it's going to be more buoyant, it's going to help you move through water easier, especially to begin with, you want something very thick. Also when you go with a thicker rail and a wider board, then you can go a bit shorter and still keep that paddling power and still keep that stability to make more of a beginner board. To begin with, longer, wider, fatter. Watch out for your nose. Your nose on your shortboard is very pointy. You might start off on a longboard or a minimal or something like that, which doesn't have a pointy nose, so it might be less of a concern. Sometimes your nose will recoil back towards you, and this is quite a dangerous thing to keep in mind. So let's go through the same thing on a softboard. This is your beginner softboard. It's a lot softer than your standard surfboard, which is fiberglass and resin around the edges, so it's a bit harder. When someone's learning to surf, it's probably ideal for at least the first few sessions to learn on a softboard. Once again, we have the nose and the tail. Again, you see a grip near the tail. This one doesn't have a kicker. Okay, so you've got your top deck, your bottom deck. This one's a thruster, it's got 3 fins. Rails again. Okay, on this board, we've got a sharp rail from the top to the bottom. A sharper rail cuts water. Best way to describe a sharper rail along the side of the board is probably going to make you go a lot straighter. Something that's a more rounded rail is going to pull on the water, which is good. Once you start to turn, it's going to make you keep on turning. The sharper rail will hold you in a more straighter line. It's a bit more forgiving if you're making some slight errors. That's your surfboard basics. If you're just starting surfing, perhaps delay the decision to buy a surfboard. Maybe go for a few lessons with your local surf school first. Rent a couple surfboards, get the feel of different boards. Try to find something that you know you're going to like. Think about also, if you're going to get a really long board to start with, it's a bit more forgiving and it really helps you speed up your learning process. Start off with a foam board ideally, move on to a harder board as you become more confident.